Hey everybody, it's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. It's Monday night and this is Twisted Stitches. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to jump right in. I know we're going to have folks joining us, and as you do, we'll be sure to acknowledge you and thank you so much for being on our show tonight. We've got a lot to cover in our 30 minutes. We might eke over a little bit, but I think you'll be okay with that if we have to. I really wanted to start our show tonight. It's November. It's my birthday month, and it's also what I like to call the month of gratitude because we celebrate Thanksgiving in November, and this might be a year where we sometimes wonder what do we have to be thankful for. But when we stop and really think, there are so many things to be thankful for and grateful for, and at Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl, to us at our little studio here in our little corner of the world, we are grateful for all of you. So we're kicking off tonight with the beginning of our year of gratitude. So we're going to be celebrating all of you, all of our customers in the next year, starting now. So we're going to go from November to next December, celebrating different customers every month. And we're going to ask you to share with us a couple of things as we go along. And but tonight we're going to start with a customer who I am so grateful for because we started our relationship as a business relationship back in, I think, September of last year, when I introduced a night shift shawl kit. And Carolyn Noller she jumped right on that, and she was one of the first customers to order that kit. And since then, we have just become great friends and business partners, if you will, because she's such a great supporter of Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. As a matter of fact, Carolyn is here with us from Chester, Virginia. Carolyn, thanks so much for joining us tonight on Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be with y'all. I get to see you and talk to you.
Not like we don't get to do that very often.
Oh, no, you get many texts from me.
Yes, I do. And I'm always very, very glad to receive them when I do. We're going to chat with you in just a few minutes about our relationship. But we want to make sure that we acknowledge all our friends who are joining us tonight.
Perfect.
But let's do a proper introduction. Carolyn Noller from Chester, Virginia.
Yes. Hello, everybody from the cold South.
All right. We have Antoinette Kellum says happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Also, hey, watching from Maryland. And Anna Calfian Munford, hello and happy birthday month. Kathy Stoddard, hi, Carolyn. Helen Solenberger, happy Monday from Buffalo. And hi, Carolyn. Julie Denny Sark, hi, Paulette. All righty.
Well, thanks, everybody. And thanks so much for joining us tonight on Nitty Gritty Yarn Girls Twisted Stitches. So, Carolyn, tell us some of the projects that you've worked on since we've met. I always want to look at the camera where I can do it. I don't want to look at the camera. I want to look at the screen, but Paul keeps pointing me back to the camera. So,
well, that night shift kit ended up to go to 3 more. All of my friends, and I have made you my official yarn person because I know if I need any help or any suggestions, all I have to do is pick up my phone and you're there. And your kits are wonderful, and they're always so complete, and they're affordable.
Well, I do my best. It's hard to appeal to the masses. But we try, and we also take a lot of suggestions along the way. I know that you'll send me patterns and thoughts of things that you've knitted, or patterns that you might like, and ask if we might have any yarn suggestions for things like that. And so did you happen to have any patterns or projects close by that you could share with us?
I have been doing some of the One Skein Wonders, trying to get some little things done for Christmas. And the one I just finished is a new pattern for me. And it is a pretty little, let's see, which way?
There you go, that way. There you got it.
Lacy cowl. And I always try to get a pattern that will give me a new stitch to learn.
How long have you been knitting?
Oh God, I'm 72. And I started when I was little because I had a very crafty grandmother. So
And thanks.
everything I have learned has been from her. So I've probably been knitting since I've been about 6.
Wow. Yep.
We,
Yep. I mean,
she
I think many
started
of us,
me
many of us started that way with crafty grandmas.
started me with sewing buttons on napkins. We have progressed through the years. My daughter is a firm believer that craftiness jumps generations.
So,
My
oh,
mother
did
wasn't,
it
and
skip her?
she isn't. I'm sorry.
Did crafting skip your daughter?
Yes.
And how about any of your granddaughters?
The quick little interest, even my grandson, I had knitting needles with him, but he's now more to, he's first year of high school and he's into ROTC, so that's not quite masculine.
Well, you probably can't convince a lot of guys about that, but that's okay. He'll come around one of these days, I'm sure.
But he appreciates what is knitted for him.
And isn't that wonderful? It sure is. So hold on one second here. We have some more folks.
Andrea Whitmore. Hi, Paul and Paulette from Indiana. Double smiley face emojis. And Leslie Welsh Flaherty. Hi, everyone. Rita Johnson Cotterman. Hello from Eureka, California. Julie Anderson Galuski. Hello from Winona,
I love him.
Minnesota. And we have Kitsy Demery. Hi from Cortland, New York. Got my order today.
Yay, good for you, Kitsy. I'm glad it arrived. So, we do our best to create and build relationships with our customers and our fans. And if you're a fan today and you're not a customer yet, we welcome you to the flock, and we look forward to you finding that perfect project that works for you. Carolyn, you want to just chat a little bit about last year's friendship retreat? You were the person who traveled the farthest to get to the retreat. You and your friend Jeanette.
Well, the first thing I asked is she had a sister who lived in Boston. I said, how far? And she said about 6 hours. And we looked it up, 6 hours. I said, well, that's nothing with the two of us. And as long as I have a full tank of gas and my GPS, I game to go anywhere. And I'd never been to Mystic. So it was, and plus the price of it. I also do painting, and my painting classes are at least $100, $125 a day. And that doesn't include anything except the instructor and the actual painting class. That included my meals, included a free pattern and yarn and companionship, and I couldn't turn it down. It's like I'm let's go.
So you had your full tank of gas and your GPS, and what happened?
Outside Pennsylvania, I started having car trouble. And I had the car in, new tires, everything checked, new windshield, everything I could think of. And Jeanette and I are trying to figure out how much money we have together so we can pay for it just in case to get to Connecticut. And it ended up a spark plug needed to be changed. And it was like $150. It was, oh my God, thank God.
Right. That didn't put a pinch in your budget for the weekend.
No, didn't put a pinch in. They were wonderful. They took us right in. They fixed it and had us right out on the road. So
no, that's great. It's determination, and I honor you, and I appreciate the fact that you and Jeanette made the ride out, and you'll be coming again this year.
Oh yes, our reservations, registrations are both in. Any way to save $50 so I can spend more money on yarn, and we've already made our hotel reservations so that we can be sure we can get a handicap room.
Well, that's fabulous, and we look forward to seeing you again. I know that you and I will be chatting between now and the retreat, I'm sure, but we're so looking forward to having you there, and so many of the folks who joined us last year and new folks as well. Regarding the retreat, we have put together a fabulous 2 full days where it's a half day Friday, all day Saturday, half day Sunday. We've got knitting. We're going to have yarn tastings, fashion shows, trunk shows, you name it. We've got this all figured out, and projects for you to knit. So yeah, we'll
and
look
your
forward
meals.
to it. What?
And your meals.
Oh, and your food. Yes, your food is included as well. Yes, we do. And Water's Edge is a fabulous resort. You're going to love it there. And we made sure with the resort that if we get another, a twist due to COVID and we need to cancel your registration, well, I know that your registration less your project amount will be refunded. And then what we do is we would send your kit to you the same way we did last year. But as I just got an email as the show was going on from someone who had to postpone or cancel last year, she said, I'm coming this year if I have to wear a hazmat suit. So so we're looking forward to it. We're going to do everything. We're going to do let's see, we're going to do healing dances between now and then to make sure that we can have that retreat.
The only thing we need is prayers that there is no snow. That is the only thing that would keep me home. I don't drive in the snow.
Well, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen the best we can.
Good.
Little something I have no control over. I think Paul's got some folks he needs to chat with.
Yes, we need to hear from all of them.
Rochelle Worth Price, hello from Chicago. And Kelly Kohlhofer, hello from Maryland. Excited to learn about cables.
And that's what we're going to be doing next.
Leticia Castro, hello from Miami, Florida. And Charlene Demershill says hello. Anna Maria Milani, hi Paulette, Paul, and Carolyn. And Brenda Dixonberger says, oh, she didn't say anything. It just came up as her.
Well, hi, Brenda. We're glad you're here.
Julie Anderson Galuski, what a delight you two women are. Hey, what about the camera guy? And Julie Lightfoot says hi from New Zealand. Be in touch soon. All righty then.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to wrap up this segment of our show by letting you all know, as I mentioned before, we're going to be doing a gratitude year. So each month we're going to be choosing a customer who would like to join us on the show, and we're just going to be chatting with you the same way we did with Carolyn. But we would like for you to start off by sharing with us why you love Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. So if you want to just put something in the chat box, that'll be great. And then each month I'll be contacting someone to join us on one of the segments of the show. And if we have enough, maybe we'll do 2 segments a month. We'll see how it goes. But Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're going to continue to watch the show after we cut over to our next segment. I look forward to seeing you soon. And thanks so much for being such a great fan of Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl.
Well, thank you for being such a great friend. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
It's like family.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye, darling.
Bye. So there we are. Thank you so much for joining us and learning a little bit about Carolyn Knoller out in Chester, Virginia, and all the wonderful things that she's enjoying with Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. As I promised you, we're going to be talking about cables, and more cables today because, just like as Mosaic was so popular over the summer months and through the summer months, it seems now that every time I turn around, there's cables on something. So I thought I would share a few different things with you tonight, talk about a little more about cables. And if you haven't knitted cables yet, please share with us why not. Is it oh my God, they're mysterious and I'm afraid to start, or if you don't like them, it's okay if you don't. So I'm going to chat while you're getting all those messages to us in the chat box. I'm going to share a few things with you. Cables can be as simple as 2 stitches. You can have, a 2-stitch cable, or you can have an 8-stitch cable. And all those different varieties are what create a texture and design in the patterns. So I thought I'd show you just a couple of things. We'll see if Ben is not going to be so needy. Right here in the Timber Run vest. Oops, yeah. In the Timber Run vest, you can see that this is a 1-stitch cable here. I don't know if I'm getting the camera in the right place because Paul has me holding the camera right now. So this 1-stitch cable creates this zigzag effect in the pattern here. So when I say a 1-stitch cable, all that means is that you're taking 1 stitch off your needle and holding it aside while you knit the stitch next to it. So I think I'm going to show you how to knit a cable in a minute, but just to give you an idea of the different types of cable stitches and what they can create. So you can create a zigzag with a cable. Then here in the Dragon Tears shawl, there's a little cable right along the outer edge. This, I believe, is also pull 1 stitch forward, knit the stitch, and then knit the stitch that you're holding. So that's another example of a cable. Then we go here to the Ahild sweater. These are both actually knitted with Santa Cruz. And look at the cables here. Here we've got several different. You've got one here. And if you look at this, I haven't taken a minute to look at the pattern, but I see let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so usually if you have 6 stitches on one side, you're going to have 6 stitches on the other side. So this is what they call a 12-stitch cable. So it's really interesting to see how that works. And then you've got more cables in this part of the pattern as well. So that's the Ahild sweater. And this is your Dragon Tears shawl. And then right here, this is one of our more recent projects. This is called concentric cables. And with concentric cables, this is really cute the way they did this. Let me pull this up so you can see. This is a little capelet. And you have 1 cable across the top and then 1 in the middle. Now you notice they're smaller, and then this one gets larger. And then the last one is wider. This is a fun pattern because this is knit widthwise. So you're going up the pattern instead of going across here. So you've got short rows, a short distance to knit in those rows, and you're creating cables all the way along. This, by the way, is called a 10-hour project. That's actually the name of the site that where we found it. And so concentric cables don't have to take a long time and be tedious. This is actually quite simple. Then my cousin asked me the other day if I would knit a hat for her little baby for his Christmas pictures. And she said, I like the ones with the squiggly lines up the front. And I said, well, thank you so much for that. I think I'll go find myself a little pattern and see what I come up with. But look at this fun little Santa hat. Isn't that precious? I can't wait to see this little guy in them. And I'm going to post his picture on our Facebook page once she has the pictures taken of him. The last pattern I want to show you that is on loan to us today from Pam Atkins is called a reversible cable wrap. And this is just so pretty. I actually was able to get all these, with the exception of the baby hat, all these kits are on our website. So this is a cable wrap, reversible cable wrap, and we're going to be using Huni by Mirasol Yarns for that pattern, and some great kits out there. So let's go to the table here, or the chair, and let me get my little cable needle. So when you're going to be knitting with cables or knitting cables, you want to use, I tell you to use a cable needle. There are specific needles for cables. They're only about that long. You can use a DPN. So many different things that you can use for your cables. They don't have to be the same size as the needle you're working on, because you're only holding those stitches off the needle for a very brief period of time before you put them back on. So I'm going to do a little demo here, and I don't even have to sit, I don't think. Are there any questions while I'm setting up?
Well, now that you mention it.
Okay. I'll wait. No?
Yeah, hold on. Okay, Rita Johnson Cotterman, the camera guy is a given, LOL. Carolyn Wood, hi, this is always so much fun. And Julie Anderson Galuski, LOL, Paul, you're hilarious. Yes, but looks
No
aren't
wonder why he
everything.
couldn't wait for the comments. They're all about him.
Rochelle Worth Price, both of your energy is so great and entertaining. Also, you have a lot of great guests, and so we can learn more. And Charlene Demers Hill, you are amazing. Your customer service is so quick and personal. And I enjoy our conversations and your willingness to share your knowledge. Thanks so much. And I love the show and how it was invented. Rochelle Worth Price says, I just have had a chance to try cables yet, but definitely want to. And Rita Johnson Cotterman from Eureka, California says, look forward to this segment. You give very clear instructions. And Diane Gardner, my last stitch in the cable is always wonky.
It's always wonky. Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's see if we can unwonk it. Okay, so I'm going to start by making an assumption for my pretend pattern that it says to knit 3. And then now what you have are what they call left cables and right cables. Doesn't matter how many stitches are in the cable. You're either doing an 8 left or an 8 right, or a 4 left and a 4 right. Usually what you do on one side of the cable, you do on the other side of the cable, opposite. But the instructions are usually pretty clear when it comes to cables. So in this case, we're going to start with a left cable. And the way I always remember it is left cables are in the front and rear cables are in the back, or right. I always say rear cable instead of right cable, because that's how I remember that I have to put my cable needle in the back of my work. So we're starting with a left cable, which means the cable stitches are in the front. So I knitted 3, and now I take my trusty cable needle, this is where I keep it so I don't lose it when I'm doing cables, always in my glasses. So I'm going to take the next 3 stitches and put them on the cable needle. Take them off, and you just hold them in front of the work. Now, if that confuses you, you can just kind of let it hang there. You don't have to hold it. See what I do? I just kind of hold it across so I don't lose it, because sometimes the stitches, the needle will slide, and then you're like, darn, I lost my cable needle, and you got to go looking for it. So I just kind of hold it there with my stitches. Then you knit the next 3 stitches. Okay, because we're doing a cable that involves a total of 6 stitches. Now I did those. So then I have to do something with these stitches now. So it will tell you to take the stitches that were on your cable needle and knit those 3 stitches. Now, something I will caution you on is if you're a tight knitter, I'm going to suggest you work your cables loosely. And this is a nice way to learn how to loosen up your knitting. If you're tight, if you say, oh, I always knit tight, so I go opposite size, practice getting to gauge using the right size needle if you can. It's a lot easier. It will make your work a lot more, it'll make your work smoother as you go along, because always having to go up a needle, down a needle, try to figure it out just takes a long time. So now I did my left cable, right? And now let's say I have to knit 3 more stitches. And now I'm doing a rear cable, because remember what you did on this side, you have to do on the other side. And your pattern will always tell you if you're knitting all one side going one way and all another side going the other way, that's what you do. So now I'm going to take my rear, I'm doing a rear cable. So my cable needle goes in the back of my stitches. I take 3 stitches off. I'm going to hold them so I don't lose them. And I'm going to knit the stitches that are on my regular needle.
We have a question.
Yeah.
Rochelle Worth Price says, do you ever do cables without the extra needle? It seems like a pain.
You can, and I do. There are ways to do it. So hold on a second. Let me finish this. So now I knitted the 3 that were on my regular needle, and now I'm knitting the 3 that are on my cable needle. Okay, so now if you look here, you see where I've got one angle coming in this way and one coming in this way. And I've got this little design work in this little stockinette stitch in here. So if you look at it, depending on what the pattern tells us to do, sometimes you're knitting your left cable and then you're knitting your right cable immediately after, and vice versa. So it just depends on the pattern. For example, here, let me just show you all. In here, you've got some stitches in between. You got stitches and rows in between your cable. Where here it looks like you're doing a left cable and then a right cable and then a left cable and then a right cable. So you can see how they go straight up there. Okay. So as far as knitting without using your cable holder or your cable needle, and there's another cable needle that works really well there. And there are some cable needles that are hooks, so that, you know, it kind of looks like a big old fish hook that when you take your stitches off your left needle and put them onto the cable needle, they're a little more secure in that bend of the needle. I prefer to use a needle when I do it, but you can, and I've been known to, you know, you can take your stitches and you can hold them in front. It's not my favorite way of doing it. I'd rather just make sure I can knit. But if you can do this, or I've seen folks, I don't want to lose my stitches here. I know there's a way that you can put them here and then knit this way, then take these back, and it's just too much work for me. It's way too much. I would much rather use my cable holder. So the answer to your question is yes, you can, but it's not something that I would recommend doing. I can tell you when I have done it is when I'm using only a one stitch cable. If I'm only pulling one stitch off the needle, knitting a stitch, and then putting that other needle back, that other stitch back on, I can handle one stitch. Beyond that, it's not really something I prefer to teach, especially if I'm going to teach it as something new.
Jillian Goldridge says, you slip them over. I knit without cable needles all the time.
Well, Jillian, we're going to have you on the show next week and you're going to show us how to do it. How's that? I think that would be fun to do. So you slipped. All right. So tell me what you did there. So you slip your needle, you slip your stitches over. Hold on. Oh, I messed that up. Let's see. So you slip them over where? To the right needle? I'm guessing you slip them to the right needle and then you slip them back, which I have seen done, but I prefer not to do it. Is Jillian back on there?
Not yet.
Okay. That's all right. I'm getting my stitches back on my needle since I ripped them out without.
We got a bunch of comments still.
So we good. Why don't you read the comments?
Kelly Kohlhofer says, love the bus, but the show got me hooked. Now I'm a yarn addict and learning to knit, lifelong crocheting. I had a lot of fun visiting the shop with my son before moving from Connecticut. Carolyn Noller may have to do that pattern. And Charlene Demers Hill, I like the concentric cable. She also says, I use toothpicks in a pinch. I have lost the cable needle plenty of times. And Kathy Stoddard, your pocket shawl and cables is pretty too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I didn't even show the pocket shawl. That's right. That's what got me started on the cables this time. I wanted to do something different in the pocket shawl. And so, you know, I just looked around until I found something that was had a little more kick to it than just a wrap.
Ooh, and this one, Gloria Freiheit. Hello, you are my favorite Monday night show. I lost track of how many exclamations, including the cameraman.
Oh, again, the cameraman.
Julie Denny Stark. I look forward to the show every Monday. I'm so glad you decided to do this during the pandemic, and thanks for always helping me find the best yarn and projects. Rochelle Worth Price, do you ever do cables? Oh, we did that one already. Anna Munford says, I've played around with cables, but never finished a piece. I really like that red cable sweater. That may be my next project.
Oh, that went on the website this afternoon. I just love that. It's such a beautiful shawl. I love the way it's designed to stay on your shoulders. Hold on, let me show this to you.
And Brenda Dixonberger, I stumbled upon your show during COVID and you were a bright light. So glad I found you. Jillian Goldridge, you slipped them over. I knit without cable. Oh, we did that one.
Look how pretty this is. Look how pretty. Look how nice the neckline. Just, it sits so nice on your shoulders. I love this.
Lorraine Schiller, hello from New York. And Jillian says, no problem. I'm happy to be there.
I would love it. So, all right, next week, Jillian Goldridge is going to show us how to knit cables without a cable needle. But Jillian, tell me this. When you learned to knit cables, did you use a cable needle at first or did you learn without it?
She's trying to add a photo.
Oh, okay.
And Andrea Whitmore says, I'm working on the pocket shawl now.
Oh, good.
And she says, yes, this show is keeping me sane during this pandemic.
It's keeping me sane during the pandemic too. This has been quite an interesting time, hasn't it? And I'm really glad. I'm as glad to have met all of you as you are to have met us. We look forward to Monday nights, and every around Thursday, Paul said, "Okay, what are you gonna do on the show on Monday?" And so we start coming up with the different ideas, and unless we have a trunk show that we know about, so we know we're gonna have Jillian on our show next week. I don't even know what time it is. Do we still have time?
We own the network, so we've always got time.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I add these little projects that I talked about. I'll put them in links. I'll put the links in for all of them tonight because they're all on the website. And I wanted to show this to you all. Pam Atkins finished this. Yes, Paul's telling me to curtsy. Look at this. This is called Sunday Brunch, and it's a fun little pullover that was featured in Vogue Knitting Magazine, the late winter edition, which we have here. And I just love the way that this little V-neck here and the little collar and the way the back, the hemline in the back dips down right where we need it. And so it's really casual. It's oversized. The smallest size, the finished bust is like 41 inches, but I'm telling you what, it is bigger than that because you know how you've got the dome sleeves. But look at this has I believe this is a 3 needle bind off at the show, on the sleeves. So the way you work it is you've got these two big pieces, then the sleeves are part of them, and then you stitch do a 3 needle bind off to create that open seam on the shoulder all the way down the sleeve. Really cute, just adorable. And the little eyelets in the cuff and also along the neckline, really pretty. So we found this pattern. We thought we would put it together for you. We've used Alba by Jody Long. We were hoping to have it ready last week for the show, but it didn't quite make it to the blocking mats in time. So you can see all the different colors that are available in Alba. And so this is moss, the color that I'm wearing. Now that's not the moss there. I don't think we have moss there, but the moss is in the bag in the stock room. But lots of different colors, really pretty. And I love the tweed effect of this yarn. And it is a alpaca, wool, and viscose combination. It's really a very lovely yarn to work with. So that is another piece that's been added to the website. It's called Sunday Brunch. And it's the pattern of the kit includes the issue of Vogue Knitting Magazine. So let me just quickly show that to you. So it's got some really great patterns in here. And this is the late winter magazine for Vogue Knitting. So just to give you an idea of some of the pretty patterns so when you order the kit, you get the magazine along with it with all the fine patterns that are in here. So fun kits and great magazine to go along with it. Before we end our show, you know how we always like to share. So I've got a special surprise this week. I have where'd it go? I love Noro. I love Noro yarns. Many of you love Noro yarns as well. We have had our trunk shows and such great responses to all of them. But I have some retro Noro books, magazines, pattern books. So this is Noro, A Way of Life. I just love, don't you love the color of this? It really just, it's like the 1950s come to life again. And the interesting thing is everything old is new again. And their patterns that are in here are great patterns. So we've got this fun retro magazine, and there is a pattern in here for a hat that calls for Curion yarn. So we have a skein of Curion yarn. We are going to pull a name and one person will win the magazine and the yarn tonight. So let's see what we've got.
The box is getting bigger.
Oreo, you want to pull a name? Oreo, want to? No? Oreo's like, no, I'm too busy sleeping. I think I'm going to pull it today. Okay, you can do it. But you give him something to do besides talk. All right. It's a 30-minute show.
Not today.
Okay.
And the winner is...
Oh my God, Kathy Stoddard. Kathy.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Kathy Stoddard, you are our lucky winner today.
Okay, Kathy, you are getting a skein of Curion yarn and the Way of Life Noro book with designs by Claudia Wersing. So thank you so much for joining us, folks. You know, I want to read something to you before we go today, because, you know, we're talking about gratitude and, you know, gratitude and attitude, right? Everything kind of plays together. So I found this the other day when I was going through some things in the back, and this used to hang in my office at my sales training career. So I'm going to read it to you. So please bear with me, because there's a real trick in this. And listen carefully. It says, today was the absolute worst day ever. And don't try to convince me that there's something good in every day. Because when you take a closer look, this world is a pretty evil place. Even if some goodness does shine through once in a while, satisfaction and happiness don't last. And it's not true that it's all in the mind and heart, because true happiness can be obtained only if one's surroundings are good. It's not true that good exists. I'm sure you can agree that the reality creates my attitude. It's all beyond my control, and you never in a million years will hear me say that today was a good day. Now it says, read from the bottom to the top. So here we go. Today was a good day. And you'll never in a million years hear me say that it's all beyond my control. My attitude creates the reality. I'm sure you can agree that it's not true that good exists only if one's surroundings are good. True happiness can be obtained because it's all in the mind and the heart. And it's not true that satisfaction and happiness don't last. Some goodness does shine through once in a while, even if this world is a pretty evil place. Because when you take a closer look, there's something good in every day. And don't try to convince me that today was the absolute worst day ever. So maybe sometimes if you're having a bad day, you might want to change your attitude and flip it around. Thank you all so much for being here at Nitty Gritty Yarn Girls Twisted Stitches. Have a fabulous week. Thanks again, Carolyn Noller. We will see you all next Monday on Twisted Stitches.